we going?
Great.
So far, so good.
What, so far so good?
Yeah.
We don't mess it up?
No pressure.
We very well can mess this up. Alright, so this is a
Cozy.
Yeah. This is a Q&A, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so you don't realize this, but we actually brought the cues.
Alright.
So much better. Okay, so here's the deal.
Study.
I guess Henry, you can drive. You're the boss, right?
Should we introduce ourselves, perhaps? I'm assuming everyone who's here knows us, but this is Henry. He makes MinutePhysics, and he drew this on my shirt.
This is Destin. I'm smarter every day.
And this is Derek. He doesn't really have a home. He lives everywhere. He makes Veritasium only. Alright, so we're going to start with the questions. Here's what we've done. I'm making these little posters, these little mini posters for like your lab or your cubicle or whatever. And so what we're going to do is we're going to ask a couple of questions just to get
What do they say,
started.
Destin?
Okay, the first one says, goggle up, science is about to happen. These are actually hand printed. The other ones say, get smarter every day because I'm advertising me above these guys over here. And this one says, in a world of talkers, be a thinker and a doer. So we're going to do 3 of these. Actually, I'll start the first one. Do we have a roving mic at all? We do? Okay. So, is Joe Hansen in here? No? He left? Is anybody in here? Where's
You'd be able to spot him. I'm looking at his head.
Yeah. Is that Phil Torres?
It is.
Hey Phil, how's it going, man? Alright, so what we're going to do is, we're going to ask the question and we'll get started. So, first question for you guys. Who is the most awesome person up here on this panel? Can we have the mic over here, please?
I think I know
See,
the answer to this.
I think I do too. This guy right here wants to answer.
See, I answered that yesterday in a
Yeah.
tweet.
Who is the answer? Derek. No, that's not the wrong answer.
I'll pay you some money afterwards.
Right here, this guy, he knows the answer to this. Who's the most awesome?
It is impossible to choose which one is better.
No, we just need an answer.
Because all of you teach everyone about awesome stuff.
Thank
So
you.
all of you are smarter.
I think I will pay you off afterwards.
But it's
Alright, right there. She has the... Alright, what's the answer?
Obviously, it's Destin. If
Okay, nobody gets a poster. The correct answer is Henry. Is the By every available metric on the YouTube system, Henry is the best. Would you agree, Derek?
I agree for different reasons than YouTube metrics.
Okay.
Henry's the best because he's the best.
That's true.
Henry taught me everything I know.
Okay, so next question. Let's ask a question about Derek. Okay, the question is, what is Derek's citizenship?
Canadian?
This lady right here. What'd you say?
Canadian?
No.
Oh.
Sorry, I should let you down easy, shouldn't I?
Yeah. That's not a very good educated thing to do.
Yeah. What about the guy next to her? Australian? No. Okay, man. Wow. Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead.
Back there. Yeah, you can just stand up and shout out.
It's dual citizenship, Australian and American.
Bam! She got it. Wait, what'd she say?
She said
she got it wrong.
Australian American.
Yeah. All right, what is it?
Well, maybe this gentleman here?
Yeah.
Dual citizenship, Australian and Canada.
Yes! Very good.
Go up, sir. Science is about to happen.
Okay, I talked too much. Your turn. Go.
Maybe what we should do is take a question. Can we take a question? We can spread these out.
Yeah,
Let's take a question. Anyone got a question for us?
Also to be clear, this is a Q&A about anything. You can ask science questions, you can ask physics questions, you can ask really personal questions. Only
What?
Not like really personal.
You ready? Anyway. All right.
Okay.
Let's go over here. There's a gentleman on the aisle here. Yep. Yeah, you. The guy who's like, no, on the aisle.
This question is for Derek. Derek, did you get any blowback or did you hear from Facebook about your
Facebook video.
expose?
Okay, the answer is Facebook never got in touch with me, and that's what I would do if I were Facebook. If someone is causing a stir, you do not add fuel to that fire. They did, however, send a response to reporters who were asking Facebook about, what they thought about me, and those reporters forwarded on their response to me. And their response was pretty bad, and it inspired me to make the video 248. the can you solve this video with the numbers? Because basically what Facebook was saying was, you know, people are having successful times on Facebook, therefore there can be no fake likes. It was this whole sort of, they were just falling into a really easy logical fallacy, but that convinces a lot of people. So I was like, why are you guys thinking this? And the same thing with social media marketers. They were saying, well, I've had success, so it can't be bad. And it's like, well, it's possible for you to have success and also for there to be these fake likes. So, anyway.
Can you recap exactly what you're talking about?
You should check out, there's a video on my second channel called The Problem with Facebook. There's a video on my first channel called Facebook Fraud. So if you watch those two videos, it will catch you up to speed.
That was pretty good. I think he was going to get another hit for that. That was good. Excellent. There's a guy wearing goggles.
2 hits. 2 hits.
He's got goggles on his head, right there.
And this gentleman we have met before. We've all signed his book that he got from the library, and I hope it is not a stolen book. Can you guarantee for us that we have signed a book which is not stolen from your library?
I can guarantee you the library was unfortunately shut down. So they were
Did you shut down the library?
He stole the books
it was not a
and
stolen
burned it
book.
down.
I promise. Cross my heart.
Very good.
All right, what's your question?
So, of the proposed new definitions for the kilogram, which do you prefer? The watt balance or the counting methods or another method?
Are you talking to me?
What do you?
So let's we
well.
should explain what this is about. So I don't know if everyone is aware that most units of measure in the SI system,
all basic units of
all
measure.
basic units of measure like the kilogram or the ampere or the meter or the second, they used to be based on like physical things. Like here was just a bar that was a meter long, a bar of metal that you had to go and measure things against. And there's and I guess the second was based on some standard clock and that sort of thing. I don't remember, but they were all these.
Second's a weird one.
Second is a weird one, but all of them so far at this day and age have been redefined in terms of like basic physical constants, like the speed of light. Or the second is like a certain number of vibrations of a cesium.
I like it when Henry does this. It's like you're not even in the room, by the way.
And so that sort of thing. But the only one that's left is the kilogram, and that's still a physical like object that's in a vault somewhere in Paris, right? You haven't seen it, no?
I haven't been there, but it is in a basement vault locked by 3 independent keys, which are carried around by separate dudes. And once a year they go down, all unlock this vault, open it up, and just make sure that the kilogram is still there. And it sits under 6 bell jars. The idea of these bell jars is to keep any atmospheric disturbance or dust or whatever to get in there.
Wow. So they weigh things against this kilogram, and the thing is that people want to make the kilogram unit into like an actual kind of more infallible thing.
Well, the reason,
you could like chip off a piece of that kilogram, suddenly like everything else would, in principle, by definition, weigh more kilograms. Because that is 1 kilogram. And so if you like remove some of it, it's still 1 kilogram.
The correct answer to the question is that we put man on the moon with the inch and the pound, and that's all that matters.
There's two ways of like redefining it. They're trying to redefine it either in terms of like Planck's constant or something. So there's a way of like basically weighing it against a magnetic field. You just put a magnet to hold it down one side of a scale and the kilogram on the other side. And the other one is actually you've held the other one.
I've held what they're making the other one. It's a sphere of silicon-28. So the idea is to very carefully specify Avogadro's number, because Avogadro's number is currently, the number of atoms in a mole. It's currently specified by the kilogram, and they want to reverse that. So say that Avogadro's number is exactly this, and then define the kilogram that way.
So essentially they're counting atoms.
Yeah.
A lot of atoms.
Yeah.
America.
The sphere, there are 2 of them. There are 2 of these spheres. One's in Australia, and one is in Europe, and they're worth like $10 million each.
And they let you hold it.
And they let me hold it.
So I have no preference.
I have a preference. The goal is to get the uncertainty down to 20 micrograms, and it looks hard to do it via the atom counting method, and the watt balance looks ever so slightly better at reducing the uncertainty. So it's probably going to be the watt balance, but the sphere thing is freaking awesome.
Go watt
It's very
balance.
slippery too, as I recall from the video. Yes. Yep. All right, where's the microphone? Little microphone lady. Let's see. Can we just turn the microphone?
There was just a quick question going over what you were saying. What you said it was worth $10 million? At
least. The woman refused to put a number on it.
Is that an intrinsic value of what it's made of?
Well, the thing that it's made of was 1 million euros, the raw material, because it's actually only one type of silicon. It's silicon-28.
Okay.
So they had to get rid of the silicon-29, which naturally occurs in about 5%. It's about 5% of natural silicon. So they had to basically refine it in a similar way that you'd enrich uranium, right? Like you'd get rid of the U-238 and just get lots of U-235. They had to do a similar thing with the silicon. So it's, you know.
Okay, so it's still like $1 million in just the metal, the raw metal.
$1 million in the pure silicon-28. And actually they're using the offcuts from that silicon-28 to make quantum computers. Because the thing about silicon-28 is that the nucleus has no spin, so it doesn't interfere if you're trying to put a little qubit in there. If you had regular silicon, you'd have all this magnetic interference from silicon-29.
Did you not know that? I thought everybody knew that. Sorry.
Got a question from Physics Girl, so we should take it.
We should take.
Your voice is loud.
Yeah, thank you.
This room is booming.
Thanks, Derek. So your channels are all notoriously popular with more men than women. Do any of you do anything to try and reach more women with your videos?
Look at this face.
See, now that was the most Derek answer you could have said.
Now the sad
Derek said, hello. Ladies.
The sad truth of that answer is it's not working at all. So what is that saying? I don't know.
I mean, I think one of the things that's most interesting is if you look at the stats, at least for me, I don't know for you guys, is that I actually have, like for guys, like across all age categories, it's pretty even numbers if you break it into, you know, chunks of 15 to 25 and 25 to 35 or whatever. But for women, it's like there are a lot of teenage girls who watch my videos and then not nearly as many later on. So something is happening, it seems, beyond that period where people are losing, you know, interest in science. Either that or
so the ratio is different across different.
Yeah, I see the same thing actually. Yeah.
I don't look at my metrics that close. I'm too busy. Babies.
Making little posters.
Making little posters. All right.
No, but are we doing anything to attract more women to science? I mean, I'm not. I feel like if you change what you're doing to try to appeal to someone else, it's probably not going to appeal to your core audience, and it's probably going to fail with attracting the new audience. I'm kind of the strengths-based philosophy where it's like if you're not a very good cook, just don't even try. Just like go and find food. That's what I do. So if you don't enjoy cleaning the house, hire someone. I don't know. That's my view.
I just do what interests me, and I don't care if anybody watches. Does that make any sense? That sounded kind of mean, didn't it? That's what I do. Yeah. It's like, this is interesting. I'm going to make an interesting video of it for me. And then maybe somebody will watch. That's kind of my approach. We go to that guy over there.
Have you ever run across a topic that has been incredibly hard to explain in one of your videos?
Yeah, so what's interesting is some of the videos that I've made, I didn't understand, well, I think almost all the videos I make, when I start the video, I don't understand the answer to the question. And people see me all the time, they're like, let me ask you the smartest question I know, because you seem really smart. And they'll stop me on the street and they'll ask me the question, I'll be like, dude, it's called Smarter Every Day because I start dumb and I'm smarter by the end of the video. I don't know this stuff. And so that's what I try to do. I create a video on the discovery or the understanding of the topic. Does that make sense? I remember one that blew my mind particularly was the cyclic and collective pitch on a helicopter. It's called collective cyclic mixing. And I had just graduated with a degree in aerospace engineering and I did not know how helicopters worked. And I was like, that's pretty messed up. So I went and I tried to figure it out. And it took me interviewing 3 people on 3 different continents before I really understood how it worked and got to the point where I could explain it to a 5-year-old. So yes, it's hard.
I just remember one like that, which is like how trees move water from the roots to the topmost branches, which seemed like an obvious, like someone's got to have a good answer to this. And Henry and I actually worked on it in London a bit. Henry's like, it's got to be on Wikipedia. And we're like scanning and we're like, none of this makes any sense. And eventually Henry...
Sometimes Wikipedia is wrong.
Yeah, often. And Henry eventually connected me with a friend of his dad's. He's a professor at the University of Utah, and he talked me through it in an hour-long Skype chat, and that's when it worked out for me. Oh, and then I tried to I explained it to CGP Grey, and at the end of explaining it to him over a meal, he said to me, gee, sir, that's going to be hard to explain. When Grey says it, it's like, no! It's hopeless.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry to return to the women in STEM question, but I'm sure you've all worked with women in your fields. Have you ever thought about having them as guests, as like a way of introducing women to more people that they might want to look into their research?
I actually worked with a female who was an Olympic skeet shooter, trap is what it's called, but she has one eye. And she was not in the Special Olympics, she was in the straight up Olympics. And she competed in Athens, and she's also a rocket tester. And yes, I've thought about bringing her on board. You're talking about our like coworkers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I've strongly considered it. I've never done it, but it's a kind of a personal thing. I want to wade ease into it. So yeah.
For Minute Earth, we're gonna try to be transitioning over to having some female narrators like now. In fact, there was a video that was one of the videos that we had from last month. That the original narration was one of our writers, who's a science writer based out of New York, and she's great. And we just had to I had to swap out and do me narrating at the last minute because she was getting married and we didn't have time to actually revise the narration. But yeah, we're definitely trying to do that kind of thing.
That's cool. Good question.
Right here in the second row.
With the kind of progressive introduction with in teaching in classrooms with online media, that kind of moving towards not just textbook-based stuff, but stuff online as well. How do you feel about the idea of your channels and your videos being used in classrooms alongside lessons and with like outside learning as well?
That's cool.
Yeah, great. Dig it.
Textbook is a thing you read when you're at home to learn some information. If people get information out of a video that one of us made, that's great. And then they should do that at home too when they come into class and talk about it with the teacher.
So some of the coolest comments we get is like when a teacher says, yeah, when the class does good on a test, we'll let them watch one of your videos.
Or like the kids bring the video to the teacher and tell them they have to play it for them.
That's cool.
That's even better.
So we go with the far over there.
Less of a question, more of an anecdote for Destin. I was at
What
work.
does that word mean, anecdote?
Just kidding, guys. I was at work watching your videos. Smarter
Slacker.
Video. Shouldn't, yeah, I know, I shouldn't. I was in IT, it's okay.
Okay.
There was a specific video, I won't go into detail, but you're consulting a doctor about what happens if a spider...
Right, privacy.
Yeah.
Yep. And I
Dr.
fainted,
Ananyev.
I fainted watching that video.
Literally fainted?
Fainted.
As you should, yes.
And the paramedics had to come. I had to explain what I was doing.
Did you tag that video NSFW?
No, you did warn me. I did not, but you get a poster.
This guy here on the aisle, fourth row in.
Hi. First of all, thank you guys just for making the content that you make, and well, personally, for making me feel that being nerdy is okay. And well, I'm going to cheat a little and ask a couple of questions. First question for all of you, like, what sort of advice do you have for someone like me who wants to start a YouTube channel, an educational YouTube channel, but is reluctant to do so for reasons?
Depends on reasons. Although Derek has a really good video about how to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's on the second channel.
But in principle, the thing is that you should just start.
Quit making excuses. That's, I mean, and that sounds cold.
No, everyone makes excuses. I made excuses.
I make excuses, yeah.
Yeah.
Just do it.
All right. Well, thank you.
Take your reasons and
tell them goodbye.
Yeah.
What's your second question?
Second question is for Henry. Do we have an update on the Venezuela situation and how it will affect
ever.
YouTube?
Ever.
Yeah.
Come on, So this is Ever. He works on Minute Earth. He lives in Venezuela, where there is a lot of civil unrest regularly.
Yes, there is still some problems in there. they have calmed down like a bit, but they are still like very heavy. Not near my home because many of the problems that I was tweeting and that Henry showed in the video was like near home, like just like in my window. I could see the problems in there.
Burning buses and cars and things.
And that stopped like a month ago, but there are still some problems. I don't know how that's going to last, but I'm expecting, I don't know what's going to happen. It's really uncertain. But I'm okay, my family is okay, and the people that I know, that I live with, my friends, everyone is okay. So thank you for watching.
In the middle here.
Okay. So this is for Derek and Henry. You guys had a video a while ago explaining magnetism that a lot of people in the comments had a couple questions about.
I think I know where this is going. But go ahead.
So my question was that you had an explanation talking about how when electrons are moving, the relative view of the protons expand and therefore they get attracted. Shouldn't that mean that they'd also be, when you don't have electric current going, that there would be a repulsion?
Yeah, I feel like I need like a whiteboard to draw this. We don't have a whiteboard, right?
You got a wall.
A wall.
You got a wall.
Get the washable crayons.
Guys, we have a laptop if you want to use a laptop.
If we had like a tablet that I could sketch on.
Why don't we do that one afterwards?
Let's do that afterwards.
That'll take a long time.
It will. Let's do the.
But the short answer is essentially that electrons, when they're not moving, like the actual each electron itself doesn't change in charge, and so it's not moving. Like you're thinking.
No. His question is, once the current is there, why doesn't that contract the distance between electrons while the electrons are moving? Henry and I discussed this for a while. But the point is, it's not a frame shift in that case. The electrons have each one been accelerated, so it's not like the electrons are stuck on some like connected line which is now moving, or you're moving relative to it. It's that each individual electron gets accelerated, so the distance between them doesn't actually relativistically contract. But we'll talk about it after. Okay. Can we do the blue and white shirt? Just repeat.
Hi, this one's for Destin. I was just kind of wondering about your process for conceptualizing your videos down to the level that you do, like 5-year-olds, and those at a really young age, because I mean, most of the stuff on YouTube, is for, high school, college stuff, and what Hank and John are talking about, one of their things is they're trying to bring some of their educational content, down to like, middle school and lower than that. So I was wondering just kind of your thought process, in bringing, some of these really complex processes, systems in our world down to that, that really, low level. I was kind of thinking, Einstein's quote or something like that, where it's like, you can't explain it to a child, it's too complicated.
Right. So, in general, I think I said this last year, but what I try to do is I try to understand the information, move from knowledge to understanding myself. Once I totally understand it, then I can crunch it down to explain it to my child. But at the same time, I always try to speak up to people rather than speaking down to people. So if I can explain it to my daughter or my son, and also make the video so it kind of moves along where I start you in easy and we start moving up the path of understanding together. And then right at the end, we'll spike really hard and we'll get some info in there that teaches the PhD, and then we'll come back down and then we'll, do something with a cat. or whatever. So I just try to, if I can understand it myself to that level, then it's pretty easy. I just, if there's a word like rotation and translation, simple examples, I'll say it scoots and spins. It's all about word choice. And a southern accent helps because everybody thinks you're an idiot and they can understand.
Let's try to give out another poster, shall we?
Yes, let's do.
So the question I was going to ask is when or what was the topic of Henry and Destin's first collaboration?
Ooh.
When Henry and
I'll give you a
Destin
hint. I
collaborated-
uploaded it from a McDonald's Wi-Fi hotspot.
Is that helpful? Is that helpful at all? This gentleman.
Do you know?
Was it shooting, like if you were to have a hole that goes through the center of the earth, and if you were to shoot a bullet?
So close and yet so far. So close. I'm sorry.
That was me and Mike Steve.
That was Mike and Steve. Sauce. Nobody. Oh, we get to keep the poster. Great. All right.
What about?
Do you know the answer? What's the answer?
The answer.
Nobody knows the answer?
They don't like our channel.
Henry's getting a poster out of this?
What is the answer?
How do lasers work?
Yeah! There you go. Destin popped balloons.
Popping balloons with the laser.
Explains how they work. So, that's fair.
Yeah.
What about the first collaboration between me and Destin?
There's something over there. What's happening over there? I'm getting waved down and the microphone's being handed to somebody.
Yeah, I have a question.
Oh, we're going to come back to that. That's fine. Yeah, we'll come back. Yeah, go ahead.
So I am planning to become an IP law specialist or a patent lawyer. And there's been a lot of news about patents, like Tesla's recent freeing their patents. And one of the reasons that I want to be a patent lawyer is because as an engineer and as a researcher, there are both obstacles and, I guess, bonuses to having patents in our country. So what are your thoughts on patents as both helps and hindrances to research in America?
Well, I have a patent, and it was a vanity thing, I think. I think the reason I got the patent, I'll be honest, it was a bucket list thing. I wanted to say I invented something. And it was cool, and it got used, and it saved somebody a lot of money, and I didn't get paid a lot for it. But I got a patent. So I could say I got a patent at VidCon 2014, right?
Was it expensive to get a patent?
Well, I didn't pay for it.
Yeah. I think that like there may be good and bad things about the patent system, but that it's far better in a far better state in the U.S. than, say, the copyright system.
Right.
And there's an excellent series of like videos called "Everything Is a Remix" by what's his name, Kirby something.
Yeah.
It's on, I think, mainly on Vimeo, but you can try to find it. "Everything Is a Remix." It's really, really well done. Very good series about the issues of copyright. I mean, I think that to me the biggest weakness is in patent system currently is that they're allowing people to be too vague, and like Apple can, get a patent for like touch screen gestures and just say like any gesture, that has to do with the touch screen thing, and then sue people for like doing anything else that's touch screen gestures, which in some ways is like
it stifles stuff.
Yeah, it stifles innovation, it stifles competition.
Well, I didn't want to. You cut me off so that I sounded like a jerk because I was just like excited about my own patent. That's not where I wanted to stop right there. I just wanted to say that there's a lot of really cool things that have been done, and people have neglected to patent them on purpose for the betterment of the world. And I think that's where you're going with this, right? I think that's important. Like if you've done something that contributes, and sometimes it's good to patent it and then just never take legal action to defend that patent, if that makes any sense.
And that's where I'm really excited by what Tesla just did in releasing all of their technology and saying we're not going to defend these patents at all because they want more companies to build electric cars, which is awesome.
It's for killer.
And it probably is like maybe a smart business move if everyone takes on their like charging stations.
Right, if everyone built the same things that they're doing.
Yeah, it's good. Sure.
Just to be clear there, Tesla hasn't said everybody can use our patents, they've said everybody can use our patents who agree not to ever sue us. So it really is a very business move. It's a fantastic thing to do. But
Why would they sue Tesla?
Well, because they're getting big. And
Yeah, I know, but why? I don't know.
They'd claim it as their own. They'd be like,
So-
oh no, we invented it.
So General Motors say they have to patent for like a vehicle with 4 wheels. So they don't want General Motors at some point when they realize Tesla gets.
Oh, it's a truce in an arms race.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, you can have this patent if you agree not to sue us when we take all your stuff. That's pretty smart. Next question.
Questions? Yeah, you?
I was going to add to the patent thing that many times I also work as an engineer, and sometimes we don't patent things on purpose and keep it as a trade secret because the minute it's out there, it can be knocked off too easily.
Especially in other countries.
And yes, and you don't want that. Or the government doesn't want it out there because of export control or restrictions or ITAR and stuff like that. And so there's different issues to the whole patent problem that we have all over and stuff like that.
Evan, do you have something to add to this?
Yeah, to follow up on the patent stuff.
Please speak up a little bit.
Yeah, as well with Tesla, it's basically a very good business move to say, well, why aren't you guys making cars now that you have these patents, right? So it basically says to Ford, now you have no excuse. You have all the patents. So, I mean, it's a very, in a way, it's an offensive business move by them towards everybody else to say, now you can't say no, basically.
But either way, like, at least in this case, I think the end result is great.
It is great. Okay, I'm putting this next poster up for grabs to the person who can name Destin and my first collaboration. If you can do it. This gentleman here, I see.
Green shirt, he's got it. Was it the butterfly and wing colors?
No.
That wasn't a collab. He scooped me. I waited 2 months before I released my version. You didn't know that. Scooped. But you we both shot. I had footage, and you released your video. It was great. And I was like, well, I better wait, I guess.
But you kind of collabed with Henry on that, didn't you? No. Didn't Henry do some?
I helped out with some visuals.
Oh yes, he did.
See?
You see things I couldn't because he's the best.
It's all collaboration. But that was not our collaboration. So Destin and my first collaboration. Man, tough one for this crowd.
I'll give you a hint. It happens once every 400 something years.
No, less than that. 121. Yes, sir.
Transit of Venus.
Transit of Venus, sir. Come get your poster.
Yes.
Please come get your poster. You are a thinker and a doer, sir. In a world of talkers. Yes?
Speaking of the transit of Venus, you guys, I didn't know that was your first collab, but with that video you did inspire me. I created a lens for my camera, specifically so that I could take pictures of the transit. We cut out one of the cheap, look at the sunglasses that you can get from the internet, and we just tape that with electric tape onto a screw-on lens. And so I was able to take pictures. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Can we get a high five?
Low five.
Questions over here?
Well, first I want to say I still have a picture of the transit of Venus that my son did, because you taught him how to do it. And I think he has a question.
Yeah, I do.
Hey, I'm a big fan of all of your videos. But one thing I was wondering is that, when you watch one of your videos, which might be 5-6 minutes long, we're just seeing like 5-6 minutes. We don't really see all the hours put in behind the scenes. So I was wondering, how long does it generally take from concept to upload to actually make a video? And have you found any tricks to, expedite that process?
It takes a long time. I think that all of us take a really long time working on things. I mean, Destin often does things on multiple continents.
Yeah, mine take a lot longer. I'll usually shoot something, like the video I released yesterday or whenever it was, I've had in the can, we call it, for a year. And so I'll wait until there's another opportunity. Like if I know I'm going to go to China Lake, California, then maybe I'll. So for me, it's a lot longer, I think.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm doing stuff that's just by myself in MinutePhysics, like if I'm really, really incredibly focused, I can do it in a day for like the Nobel Prize announcement or something. But that's not the sort of thing I do, more than once a year, once or twice a year. Normally, it's kind of a process of 3 or 4 days a week. And a huge portion of it actually is stuff that it's really hard to measure. It's like, it's the thinking about it time, like when I'm out, running around or driving or like talking with friends about something, and it's the figuring out of how to explain it or learning about things. Like there are things that are really hard to actually quantify.
Transit of Venus was my quickest.
Yeah, that was quick.
That was a few hours.
That was intense.
Yeah.
But when I think about my spinning wheel on the end of a stick thing, I don't know if you've seen that one.
Yeah.
Heavy spinning wheel. I actually had the Perimeter Institute build that for me first when I was in Canada in November. And we built one, and it didn't work very well. It wasn't very well balanced, and it wouldn't spin fast enough. and I nearly threw my back out, and it was like -10 Celsius. What's that in Fahrenheit? I don't know, like 10 degrees. It's
cold.
But so I was
on the moon.
I was outside. 14. I was trying to do it like in the snow, in the freezing cold, lifting that thing over my head, and it wasn't spinning fast enough. I was nearly throwing my back out. Then University of Sydney built another one, and we got it slightly better, but it still wasn't good enough. So we had to cut down the handle, and I had to buy a new drill. And if you look carefully in the video, you can see that I've taken cuts from 2 days, where on one day the handle was longer, and the next day the handle was shorter, because that's the day that it actually worked. So anyway, so that video took months and months and months of making and trying and shooting and planning and failing.
And you were just talking about it on the way up here, the collaboration that you guys are working on, but is still kind of...
This is a collaboration that we talked about when we first got in touch, which was probably, what, 2 or 3 years ago?
No, we talked...
I think it would have been 3 years ago. Destin and I were like, what collab should we do? This was even before the Transit of Venus, and I was like, I got a great idea.
Don't tell them.
I got a great idea.
Yeah. And so, you told me you'd call me out on this.
Well, no, but that's fine. But then, like 2 years later, I did it, and then
we're waiting on me.
It's 1 year later.
You spent like a week working on it.
And I spent a week doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so I have it. Destin.
Waiting on my part. I'm sorry.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good.
Recently, I did something that took me 8 months to learn how to do. So I have a video coming up in a couple of weeks that I trained for 8 months. And I can do it now, but it took a long time.
Should we pick some questions we haven't had before? Maybe over here?
Hi, so first of all, I introduced my mom to your channels a couple months ago, so you have at least one really old female viewer.
Would she like that you just called her really old?
I don't know.
It's kind of mean.
She can't be that old.
With an adult daughter, I don't know, but...
I bet your mom's not as old as you think she is.
I will give her that she doesn't look as old as she is.
All right.
Anyways, the first thing she said to me when she's really got into your guys' videos was, they must be really frustrated that they work so much harder than everybody else on YouTube.
Oh, yes. That hit me today, because I was checking out another channel which was like, top 10 list kind of thing, and I saw the same one. Did you?
Yeah.
And I was like, why? It's driving me crazy. I was like, where have all the views been going? And then I was like, there! That's where the views are.
But at the same time, I will say that like there are people who, there are things that are kind of just like really easy, but the grass always seems greener on the other side, and there are people who do things that seem really easy, but they're actually really hard, and they put a lot of work and time, and a lot of vlogs, for example, like really good ones, people put a lot of time into like thinking and writing and figuring out what they're going to say, and they're just really good at making it feel like it's off the cuff and like they're just talking to you.
I remember when I would get like 10,000 views on a video, and I'd be super excited. And so, last couple of videos I didn't get a lot. I went to Australia, coordinated with a team, and we dove on the Great Barrier Reef with a Google Earth camera, 360-degree panorama. It took a lot of time. And it's not even over 200,000 views.
You should have seen his face when he was down there. Like, he had this crazy mask, and it made him sweat something fierce, and like snot coming out of his nose, and he's like, Eric, I can barely breathe in this thing. And it's like, it was awesome.
but I don't, I'm at this point looking back, I'm like, wow, nobody cared about that. And then I think, still 100,000 people, that's a lot of people. That's more than it's in my town, and I feel very fortunate.
But the question I really want to get down to was, do you ever see, videos of like inane humor or just like absolute stupidity and get that frustration of like, I'm doing this is my life, I devote my time and all this brain power to it, and somebody else gets the same attention for something that doesn't take as much?
I will say that the most frustrated I've ever seen Derek was when he made a video about 10 facts about great white sharks, and it did super well, and he was so mad about it because he didn't put any time or effort into it.
Proportionately.
And then compared to videos that we spent a lot of time, a lot of emotional effort, I think a lot of it's the emotional connection to things as well. Like it was kind of
Destin had a similar thing with Houdini, where it was like, not like this.
Yes, but not like this. Yeah, I don't know. We're not really driven. I don't know. At least I'm not driven by the view count. Of course, it's great and wonderful, but I mean, other people are successful. I'm happy for them. That's very nice. And she said, "Andy's really old."
You guys all have educational channels. How would you like to see education change or not change?
in public school systems?
Wow, that's a loaded question.
I'm a product of the public school system. I'm pretty cool with it.
I'm a product of the public school system in Canada, but I feel like my school was phenomenal and all my teachers were incredible. I think, you know, I'm actually kind of planning a series about this coming up pretty soon. And my feeling about education is that the word revolution is used way too often when we look back at what's happened in education. You know, when motion pictures came in, when TV came in, when radio, and there's always been this kind of sense. I think teachers have felt like they need to defend their position, like they're going to get replaced by a robot a little bit. And if you watch CGP Gray's videos or you listen to him on the internet, he would like to replace every teacher with a robot, just as soon as he can. But here's my point about like why MOOCs and open education and online education and all of these different things that have been tried never seem to really penetrate and really make a difference. They never seem to really revolutionize, at least not in the way that they're expected to. And I think that's because fundamentally what we need in order to learn is a relationship with someone.
Humans are made to interact with other humans.
Yeah, someone you feel responsible to, someone you feel a connection to. I know for me that was one of the hardest things going to university, because my first year of university I was in, you know, massive lecture theaters, and my lecturer didn't know me and no one knew me, and you know, who was I responsible to? No one, and you know, and I didn't really care at that point. So yeah, I think that's the job of a teacher. A teacher is not to communicate, like they're not just to pass on information. They're to inspire and to create a connection and build a relationship.
Miss Russian in 12th grade was my English teacher, and she made me a storyteller because of how she made me write. And if Miss Russian hadn't done that, it wouldn't have happened, I don't think. Well, but I mean, that personal connection is huge, like you say.
So I think like our videos are great tools that teachers can use, but I think ultimately like the core of education and what really happens is an inspirational, and it's a human, and it's connection, it's a social thing.
I think that we just bored them with their face. Did we? Dr. Boom has a question.
Yeah, when you talked about training to do things, when you did the Great Barrier Reef series, had you previously had scuba diving experience, or is that something that you had to train for there? Or,
yes, yes, I'm a, what's our certification? Where's my wife?
Patty?
Yeah, it's Patty, Advanced Open Water Scuba Diver, yeah. As part of, I did it, I have several things like that I did because I want to be an astronaut. And radio license, scuba stuff, other things that I'm not going to talk about here.
If you guys had like one dream topic to cover in a video, but you can't either because it's impossible, like not impossible because either not understood yet or you just can't explain it because the media won't allow, like the platform that you're going on won't allow you to explain it in that amount of time or something like that, what would it be?
I'd go to the International Space Station. Next.
I feel like my next video is almost like my dream video. It's uniting a whole bunch of different ideas to talk about determinism in the universe.
So you're done.
Yeah, after the next video, I'm retiring.
I don't know. I don't have any like single dream. I have like videos that are on my list of like things that I would like that I want to do that I just have been kicking down the road, but not necessarily for a reason that like I couldn't do them. String theory, black holes. Those are two that are on my list that I think are they feel like low-hanging fruit, but I want to do them justice, and I think they're normally not done very good justice in science communication.
Having said that, yeah, like climate change, something I want to actually do well, and evolution is something I want to do well, and probably, yeah, things that people get wrong. I've got a series in mind called That's Probably Not Good For You, and a series in mind called That's Probably Not Bad For You. So at some point, hopefully I'll get around to making those.
You know, it is interesting that there's certain things. Have you done relativity yet? Like you want to?
I've done special relativity like I want to. I haven't done gravity like I want to.
Yeah, so there's some things like, I know Brady Heron, who does periodic videos, all these awesome channels. I can't list them all because I don't have that good of a memory, but he don't have enough time. But he has this topic that he loves. Like, you go to his house and it's a very personal thing for him.
Yahtzee.
But he's never done a video on the topic because it's so important to him, and he wants to do it right. I still haven't done a series on rockets. It's so important to me. I want to do it right. And so, yeah, there's things like that.
Want to go up the back, maybe in the middle? Yep.
Hi.
Hello.
I met you earlier, Destin.
What's up, Grace?
I I have a question for you. I'm originally from Tennessee, and when I moved out here, the first question people had asked me when I told them that I was from Tennessee, well, where's your accent? And just after that one, it's, but you're good at math and science. I was wondering how you dealt with discrimination like that.
It's not an issue. I mean, if anything else, I can't tell you the secret. Here's how it works. If people underestimate you, then they just set the bar this much lower for you and you can easily just walk across it. It's that simple. I mean, so I remember a guy, he was from San Diego, and I was doing something at my job, and I did this little trick with extension cords so I could do something special, and he looks at me and goes, why do you do that? I said, do what? He goes, you talk like the country bumpkin, and then, you act like you're dumb, and you do really smart things. I thought, and I was like, I'm not acting dumb. And what he said was, I think you're so dumb, but you do smart things sometimes. And so I just embraced it, whatever, I don't care what you think. Yeah, that's it.
The question for Destin, I guess, any of you could probably go on about it. A couple of years ago, my cousin did a project on the invention of the helicopter for his elementary school. And then when I found your videos, I said, oh, Connor, you're going to love this. And he's watched every single one of your stuff since. So I'm curious if you have plans or a subject in mind you'd like to do another deep dive series into.
Deep dives?
Yeah.
Yes, I have several deep dives planned. I have one planned on the physics of weaponry. And I've done some stuff that's really neat, but I'm just kind of waiting on it because I want to just put it all together. Right now I'm doing a deep dive on the Australia Great Barrier Reef stuff. So yeah, I like that format. I like to. My wife says I jump from topic to topic and I stick on one topic. Like we did the deep dive. Phil and Jeff are in the audience right now. These are the guys I went to Peru with. We went to the Amazon rainforest. Wave your hands. So these are the guys that we discovered that spider together with in the rainforest and did the deep dive on.
So we should keep him away from them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't pass out, man.
Yeah. Phil's the guy that said, you know what happens if that bites you, right?
That's one they put on your face, right?
No.
No, or is that a different one?
Thank goodness. All right.
Here.
So you guys talked about how the process takes a very long time, and science is like that. Like for people who've worked in the field, science takes a very long process to make a discovery. Have you ever thought about showing your process to show even how figuring out how to explain what you're doing is a scientific effort in a way?
Henry has done it.
A little bit.
I thought about making a video on my second channel because I've got such great footage of me swinging that freaking thing like on an icy ground, like snow falling on me, like nearly dying. So yeah, look out for that. Destin,
that's pretty much every one of
Gonna
my
show you
videos. Just go back and watch. At the beginning of the video, it's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then the end of the video, it's like, oh wow, he said that well. It's because I was just
can we go maybe over there? Back there.
So a lot of you guys all sort of work in videos in the physical sciences and natural sciences and engineering, Destin, and sort of things that are things you can touch. And with the exception of computer file, there's really doesn't seem like there's content of your variety about computer science and technology. Or am I just missing that, or do you think there's something?
You did one on quantum computing.
Yeah, but like for straight up,
that's more of a physics.
I did one on transistors, but like in terms of a channel dedicated to computer stuff, yeah, like computer files looks like all there is. But I mean, I feel like we're at the beginning of things. I mean, people might think the physics market is saturated right now, but I don't think it is. Like, I think there's plenty of room for a lot more educational content in all areas, and I think we're just going to see that grow.
So you think it just hasn't been done yet? It's not.
I think that we are the first, like we're the very front part of a much bigger wave. What do you think, Henry?
I hope so. I certainly hope so.
Don't you think we are though? I mean, like, there's got to be more. When you think about the way that it's being done right now, I mean, it's very haphazard.
Yeah.
They need more people who just start doing it.
Doing it instead of thinking about it.
And talking about it.
Yeah, just do it. Right, physics girl?
Right.
So.
All right, thanks.
It's you, man. Do it, man.
Yeah, do it.
Do the computer thing.
Ones and twos, right?
And if you want to
see what I did, Grace?
Actually, there's one guy who's like a guest sometimes on the computer file who has his own stuff, and he's really good. And I'm trying to remember what his name is. I don't remember what his name is.
Tom Scott.
Yes, Tom Scott.
Yeah.
Yes. So he does his own stuff, but there's not a ton of it.
So the answer was, it's your fault, because you're not doing it. In a nice way. I meant it in a nice way. Go for it.
Hat here.
Nice hat.
Thank you. No, it's a llama.
Is it French, the llama?
No, but it could be, I guess. This is a question that I think sparked a lot of controversy between CGP Grey and the rest of the world. And that was, what subject would you want to be taught in schools that either isn't currently taught or isn't broadly enough taught, you think? And then what would you take away in order to make room for that subject?
I would like math to be taught in schools, and I would like to take away the stuff that happens with the numbers and the arithmetic that gets taught.
I'm going against the audience. I want my math classes.
It really depends on what's happening. Like, my math classes were so, I mean, what do you think is not good about the way math is taught right now?
I kind of like game math. It's so fun.
No, so there's a lot of good stuff that comes with math.
Exactly.
But I think the thing is that, like, I, for example, didn't really come to appreciate and find the beauty in math and understand what math was really about until I did a math degree in college and like, you know, got through like several years of college and was like, oh, this is what math is. Like, it's about like beauty and structure and understanding how these things go together. Like, math is definitely a tool, and if you want to use it as a tool, then you can do that the way it's currently taught in schools.
Yeah, so you're saying do math in a way that you can see why it's important.
See why it's beautiful.
Right, okay. I see
So that sounds like a challenge to write that curriculum.
I'd
I'd like to see you write
You were talking about CGP Grey. I'm totally cool with foreign language being taught. You're talking about the episode of Hello Internet where they reference.
Yeah.
But also, like, he frequently has said that he would put computer programming into schools and take language learning out of schools.
Whatever.
That's
I'm down
his
with
opinion.
that. Whatever. I'm cool with that.
You don't mind that?
If you're happy being a monoglot, yeah.
Yeah.
Not happy being a monoglot.
That's my problem with Gray. He's like,
Say
well,
that right.
I think everyone in the world should learn English, but I'm not going to learn your languages. Yeah, it just sounds like a dick.
I'm not here to defend him, so.
That's what makes it even better. Even easier to take him down. Honestly, I said this to his face, so I would say it here. Like, we argued about this for 8 hours as he talked about on Hello Internet. I was like, great.
But both of you do like to argue, don't you? Yeah, that's right. Next question.
Is it math a universal language?
Is math the universal language? I don't know. Next question. Well, I mean, I'm way better at math without numbers than math with numbers. You can ask my wife, who always has to do the tip math when we go to a restaurant. True or false? Where are you at? Say yes, wherever you are. Hiding. Okay. All right, next question. I see some glasses and a silhouette. You look kind of cool. Thanks. That looks really cool.
This is badass.
This is called cinematography.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to Instagram this shot. I love the lighting in this room.
Do this with your hands. And while you talk, go ahead, speak.
One thing that has always sort of bothered me a lot of the advanced physics courses, and something that has never been explained to me fully, is what exactly does simultaneous mean when two events are simultaneously occurring?
Henry?
So, I think, so this is a question that actually has to do with like what measurement even means in general, and if you're talking about like you being able to know two things are simultaneous, it's really like it can only be things that happen to you at the same place. And so two simultaneous events, for example, would be ones that that you would in some way receive input that you could then calculate and say these happen. So like for me, like if light from two different lights comes into my eyes at what I know to be the same time, then I would say those events were simultaneous, like me receiving the light. And if I somehow knew that the light's sources were the same distance away, then I would think, oh, those lights were emitted at the same time. But because a lot of these things are relative, you know, and special relativity would say, like, if you were moving relative to me and you saw the same lights, if they, you know, these lights flashed, you wouldn't think they were at the same time because one would hit your eye first and then one would hit your eye later. And so it is all dependent on the observer. And it's what you can know and extrapolate. And there's actually, it's very interesting to think about the fact that anything we know is all based on, like, things that we are receiving input from from far away from us, whether it's, you know, by light or sound. And that, you know, I know that there are things out here in, you know, several, you know, meters in front of me because there's light coming into my eyes, but it's all based on what's happening right here, that photons are being absorbed in my eyes, and it's like, I can't actually...
There's an integration time.
I'm not actually connecting with, like, there's no direct, like, connection here in the sense of, like, how I'm knowing you there is because of there's a communication basically that's happening.
Okay, quick.
That cleared it up. Maybe we should go the lady at the back. Yes, that's you. There's no lady at the back.
My question is, what's your advice for, I guess what I'll call science enthusiasts who are interested in creating video and content that is science-infused and science-based, but we're not trained scientists. Perhaps we're not trained science communicators, but we want to use something like pop culture as a jumping-off point to explore something we're interested in. How do you know when you have enough information to put something out there, as, you know, language and theories are so specific?
Well, I mean, somebody like Brady Heron is definitely not a trained scientist. He is a huge science enthusiast, and he goes and talks to experts in
He's really
fields.
smart.
He's really smart. He just isn't trained in that, so he goes and he knows that he's going to talk to people who know what's going on, and he'll ask really, really good questions. He's incredibly good at asking questions. So that's something if you're...
It's the source, really. Yeah, that's what you're getting at. He finds the source of the information, and he has a responsibility to make sure that he's researched it correctly.
And we do the same thing. Like, we will go and find the source, and you go find people. Derek and I read papers, and then we do the communication of that information.
It's good to double check your sources too. I've put videos out that were wrong because I used one source, and he was supposedly the guy, and he wasn't the guy. Or at least he was more interested in being the source than actually.
But I think to, like, summarize what you guys are saying is, like, there's many ways to skin a cat.
Yeah, I mean, we're all science enthusiasts.
I was trying to make this relatable for you.
For me, I skipped a squirrel. Oh, also, wear goggles. That's another one. Make sure you wear goggles when you do science.
That's good advice.
Yeah, right here.
So where do you see your channels going in the future? And any projects that you're really looking forward to, and also, why did you skin a squirrel?
To eat it. Where are your channels going in the future? Do you think we're going to be doing YouTube in 5 years? I mean, do you think YouTube will sustain us for 5 years? I've often wondered that myself.
I think the future is undetermined.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the thing is that we all love science, but we also all like creating things and telling stories and talking with people and doing interesting things. And I mean, you can see that there's been some changes over the years in the kinds of things that Derek has done and Destin and I started Minute Earth. I have ideas for other kinds of science to talk about, other kinds of shows to do.
Minute Empire. I'm not joking. Minute Empire. Are you squatting on that channel name, Minute Empire?
No, you can take it.
I'm going to take it.
But I mean, I think that, like, I have great confidence, like, YouTube as a platform and that online video and these sorts of things will be around in 5 years and that we'll be able to sustain ourselves kind of like from the financial perspective, but in terms of like personal creativity and doing things that we like to do.
I've noticed that all of us have started little things on the side. Like Ray started Hello Internet, I started doing infographics, you started Minute Labs. What are you doing?
Figure out.
You have your atom things.
Oh, we shouldn't talk about that.
Yeah, but it's a secret. He has something on the side.
Thank you, man. No, but I'm also shooting a documentary for PBS, so look out for that. It's going to be about how radioactivity has shaped the course of human history.
But it's out in like next summer or something.
It's out next summer. It's going to be the blockbuster of the summer. PBS. Is it
The Fault in Our Stars Part 2.
I like it. So you're going to give them this? There's going to be a little bit of this.
Okay, Chris is here.
If you could go back and have any of like your the two on the panel are like gray or braiding hair, and as a science teacher when you were younger, who would it be?
Someone who's not here on the panel?
Or on the panel.
As a science teacher? Take Henry. Look at that. Yeah. As a shop teacher, as a guy who knows how to make stuff, Destin. Seriously.
I have all my fingers.
That's
a big deal. So far. You don't know what I do for a living. That's I have to do all of them. We just got the 5-minute warning.
Yeah, so let's do some lightning questions. If you want to get your question in, let's get it in now. Back there.
So, what's your opinion on the latest version of Cosmos?
I don't have cable.
I have seen one episode of it. I think it was. It seemed to be quite wandering around a lot. I think it's amazing that so many people were into it. I think it's great that many people that they managed to do it, and that it wasn't on PBS. It was on Fox or something that you got that many people excited about science and doing it. But in terms of the actual science communication of it, there are a lot of things that I wish they had done better, but you can always complain about stuff. They got a show on Fox.
That guy in the back. Lightning questions mean lightning answers, Henry. Come on.
Is there a topic or a video that you've done that you really wish you could redo?
Yes.
One.
Elaborate.
Henry, is there one that you wanted to redo?
Probably, yeah. Oh yeah, because I've made mistakes.
I've made mistakes.
I've made mistakes. Yeah, right. Right there. There's white writing on your shirt. I can't.
Since you've made mistakes, what's your policy when you make mistakes? Do you pull videos down? Do you do written corrections? What do you guys do when you realize?
Kind of depends on the size of the mistake. I've never pulled anything down, but I put annotations on when I reverse the cross product.
Math's hard. I some people.
Yep. Yeah, I never done anything that.
Annotations and make edits down below. Right here.
Is it possible that we'll be seeing you guys or hearing you guys on Hello Internet anytime?
Doubt it. And I have been asking, right? I was like, Greg, put me on the show. And he's like, I will not do that, Derek.
Sorry, Derek. I told Gray not to put us on the show, but I'm like, you guys got the two dudes talking.
No, it's stupid. That's stupid. It would help if we were there.
Don't put Derek on there. He just wants to self-promote.
No. Henry and I are launching a podcast. It's called Goodbye Outernet.
Make it quick.
Yeah, kind of a poll question for the audience. You mentioned science enthusiasts. How many people here do not have a background in science or engineering?
Yeah, that's a good question. Wow, that is awesome.
You notice Emily Grassley raised her hand?
Yeah.
Pretty big deal.
I think that also goes to the earlier point about what do you do if you're not trained in it. Just get into it.
Let's go with this guy on the front row.
Alright, to keep on the Hello Internet train, paper books versus ebooks?
Ebooks. Because I move a lot, I gave away all my paper books and now I have ebooks.
That's legit.
You have to.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, right here.
Do you guys ever want to grow your hair out or change how you look but don't because your face is...
I tried to shave my beard. People didn't like that.
I look like a dog with mange when I try to grow a beard.
I used to have long hair, but no one knew because all you could see was my hand.
Okay. Down here?
Yes. How do you feel when you make a new topic? Like you mentioned you haven't done black holes or anything. That video has been done by 1,000 other people already before. How do you prepare for making it watchable again for people who already know?
But I haven't made it yet, so
he's making it for himself. That's the point.
Oh, yeah.
And in particular, videos like that I want to make because I don't think they've been done in a way that does the subject justice. So I want to make it in a way that I think
they're not good enough yet. Right here.
You guys are all really popular. I checked, and all three of you, your main channels have over 1 million subscribers. Are you ever worried about your channels getting so big that you can no longer meaningfully connect with your audience?
We're too big to fail.
No, we're connecting right now. You feel it?
Quantum computing taking over more modern computing?
I don't think it'll take it over, but I think it'll be used for particular purposes because it's quite a different processing type
it'll make
structure.
security really hard.
Yeah.
One more, and we'll do one more question, and one more of these will be done.
Sure.
Do you think that with convergence of VR and that controller that Freddie Wong is saying that he's made, that you can touch and see your hands and all that kind of stuff, that there's maybe a market in the future for you guys to do a lab experiment or something where somebody can plug in and be next to you and doing the lab experiment with you, or something, hiking through the Amazon. Do you think that'll ever come to pass?
I've got a project in the works that's... Did you ever see the Machu Picchu video?
Yeah.
I have a project in the works similar to that.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool. But no, you cannot
I just
plug
think
in and be next to me.
I just think it'd be great if like people actually did the lab or went to Peru. I know that's hard, but that would be my dream. Like I would hate for the world just to come to you in that way. Like I think you need to get out into it.
Yeah,
get outside.
It sounded like I was being rude.
I'm not
What I was trying to say is
the same.
the technology doesn't exist for us to be next to each other, but the technology will exist for you to feel like you're somewhere. Does that make sense?
Right.
So I think that sounded rude. I didn't mean for it to sound rude.
All right, we got one minute left. Should we hand out a poster?
Yeah, how do we do it?
You do a question. Who knows the exact speed of light in meters per second?
298,000.
I think he stopped. He's wrong already.
So, 299,000.
No, we gotta go. Let's go here.
I actually got one. Maybe I should.
All right, don't go. Yes?
2.99 times 10 to the 8.
No, not good enough. Not enough sig figs. Who's got more sig figs for me? Yes, sir.
299,886.
No.
Oh,
Yes.
2.9986 times.
No. More sig figs.
All 6 of them.
And 3 more. Come on. Say it again. Come get it. 299,792,458 meters per second. Yes, sir.
I would have preferred that in miles per hour, but whatever.
As if you're in the music, the answer is 1.
Okay, is that it?
I think so.
Hey, thank you so much for